Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamaduchyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, we are back for the satsang. You heard what I said last. Today is just an introduction, okay? We all know what an introduction is. Many of you are known people who have come many times. Therein lies the problem. But anyway. So, today we're just generally going to discuss matters, and from then on we have the Upanishad. Now again, that is another problem. So, are you going to take notes or just listen? Or not now. I mean, when the class starts. First of all, welcome back, all of you. You know, actually, I feel a little comfortable when we see familiar people. So, I'm glad. So, let's start. And you might have seen YouTubes in India, where I'm on the verge of becoming a rishi. But when I came to the US, I shaved and came, so not to worry. So, we are in the next 2 days going to do the Upanishad. Even though I'm smiling and laughing, it's a serious affair. And because it's a serious affair, I'm happy about it. Because when you say Upanishad, don't think that, oh. Now, before we start the whole session, today we just have about 30 minutes. I'm going to read out from my old Upanishad. Pages are falling apart, often thumbed. So, we'll talk later. You met me yesterday and said, I need to talk. We'll talk later, okay? Don't worry. So, is it snowing in Moscow? No. So I want to first give you one quote from a very important Upanishad so that we have an idea what we are dealing with. You hear me at the end there? Right? No? I will put up a little bit? Or I should move forward? Okay. So this is from a very famous, well-known Upanishad. It is part of the principal Upanishads. I'll explain to you tomorrow about principal Upanishad and so on. It's from the Katha Upanishad. It's interesting. This is from the 23rd sloka of the Katha Upanishad. Now listen carefully. It says, Nayam Atma Paravachane na labhyo. Sanskrit, anybody knows here? Nayam Atma, I'll explain. Paravachane na labhyo, na medhaya, na bahuna Shruthena, yame vaishya vrinute, te na labhyas tasya atma prinute tanam swam. Which means, now you would wonder why you've come for this Upanishadic session, which is going to run into 3 days, when one of the principal Upanishads, the Katha Upanishad, declares, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhya, this Atman cannot be attained through any discourse. So why are we here? Why are we here? For me, oh, no, no, no. The whole point is that we should understand the Upanishad. The Upanishad says, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhya. This Atman cannot be attained through instruction. Waste of time. Or, well, if you had not listened to this, you wouldn't know that, right? So it's a good point. And na medaya, nor by intellectual power. So somebody says, I am the most intelligent person, I am a nuclear physicist, I am a genetic engineer. Upanishad is not understood. What do we do? So that's what we are going to deal with in the next 2 days. So what do we do? Plus, na Bahuna Shruthena, nor through much hearing, nor even through much hearing, can it be? I'm not saying this, okay? 2000 years ago, a rishi sitting somewhere under we don't have people trees here, pine tree or oak tree said this. I'm just reading, I'm repeating what he said. I'm hoping that there's some sense in it. There must be something. Why would somebody say this? When the rishi is sitting under a tree and there are students sitting around him, he's supposed to be teaching them, and he says, none of this discourse is going to be of any help. Why is he saying that? And even if you think you're the most intelligent person, if you don't understand it, then don't take it as absolute. This is what the Upanishad says. And na bahuna shrutena, nor through constantly listening to. Now, I have to explain this a little bit. By constantly listening to something, you actually miss the point. Because you're only listening to the words and not to what actually being, I would say, proposed. Because there are two things to understand. One is hearing and how it's different from listening. It's like seeing and how it's different from observing. When you say seeing, if my eyes are open, I see everybody around me. But I'm not observing. If I need to look at something in depth, I have to shift my attention to one. I can see everybody because you all register, or you all can see me and others. It's registered into your system because you have eyes, you have lens, and you have a retina, so you see everything. But you see this, the eye can see only one thing at a time. If I'm looking at you, although all the images are still falling inside my retina, I'm seeing only you, I can't see the others. When I shift, I see you. Need not even shift my body, the eye can shift. I'm looking, then one person, you and I. In the same way, hearing, when you sit with your ears are open, you hear thousands of sounds coming in, including the crickets. But you want to listen to something, then you eliminate all that and listen. Then you're only listening to one thing. So the human mind does not have the capacity to see everything at once or to hear everything at once. It can only do one at a time. So when it is doing one, it is there. When it is doing the other, then it is shifted from here there. The Upanishadic seers say that there is something, a point at which you hear everything together, and you see everything together, and all your five senses are functioning at once and not as separate entities. If this happens, then you're living, you're not different from the world, you're part of everything. And the Upanishad here says in the Kathopanishad, tomorrow I may not do the Kathopanishad, we'll do something, I don't know. This Upanishad is saying that, my dear friends, self is attained only when the self chooses who attains it, not the other way around. As long as I think myself that I am going to find the self, when I say I don't think this is possible, I'll try my best, and then I give up and sit quiet. Then the self takes over. The real self, not this little self, you and me. But if there is a true self, then it takes over. As long as I'm doing circus, certain things can happen, but nothing really happens. I don't know if I told you a story in any one of those sessions which we had about, kind of sums up the thing. You can hear me, right? I'll move forward. There is a glass box, long glass, or nowadays they may use perspex, something transparent, plastic or glass box. The rectangular box is divided into two parts by a vertical, again glass wall, separates it. On this side, there are wafer-thin creatures of one color. And on the other, there are also the same wafer-thin creatures of a different color. But here there are very few. And where the very few are, it's very beautiful. A lot of grass, a lot of greenery, a lot of wonderful things. Taps with freely available Coke. I don't know if anybody has Coke, anyway. And so on. No, I was trying to substitute for wine. So, if today somebody writes a description of heaven, instead of wine, they would say somebody is giving you Coke. So, anyway. So what did I say? Hey, I can't find our yoga teacher. Where did she go? So what did I say? So there's a rectangular glass box. There is a glass wall inside that divides it into two parts. On one side is a beautiful part in which there are these red-colored little wafer-thin objects enjoying. They seem to be enjoying. This side is all bleak and desert. It's like full of sand and desert, heat, discomfort. But there are many there. They are the green ones. Now, the green ones can see through the glass that these red fellows are enjoying. But these wafer-thin creatures know only two dimensions. They can either move this way or they can move this way. They are very thin. They have even themselves no idea of thickness or height or depth. They can either move this way or they can move this way. And the top of the box is open. Now you would say, why, if they find it nice, why don't the green fellows jump? They have no idea of jumping. They know only this and this. Get what I'm trying to say? You might have heard that story before, no? And they're trying very hard to reach on the other side because it's very nice. Where the red guys, a few of them are running around. I'm not talking about the Marxists, please. Walking around. And then we wonder why don't they jump? Because they don't know what is jumping. They have only two directions. But they're desperately trying to come to the side. They go and hit the wall and they do all kinds of circus. The fact is, one of us is actually standing there, looking down, wanting to take the green fellows and put them there. But how can you catch them? Because they are all the time going. So finally, having attempted everything, they become tired and give up and say, we don't think this can happen. Then they stop moving. So you take them and put them on the other side. Now we have come to it. How did we don't know. You get what the Upanishad is trying to convey?
When you steal the mind.
No, kill. Oh, well, now here. How will you kill the mind? The mind is trying to kill the mind. No, you didn't say kill. Oh, still. Okay. I thought kill. Because when you kill them, it rebounds with double strength. You can't kill the... You see, look. Now here we come to one point. Not, you didn't say that. I'm saying. I say I'm going to kill the mind. Okay. Now who is going to kill the mind? The mind. So it's actually trying to commit suicide. Because look, I separate myself into two parts. And I said, this mind, this we mind, which is terrible, it's horrible, it's always thinking of bad. But I am there, a pure mind, which is the Atman, which is trying to... But that thing which you call the poor, this is also the mind, right? Altogether is the mind. So who is doing what, where, how? So, if you look at it seriously, there is no difference between the observer and the observed. The observer, which tries to separate itself from what is being observed and say, I can't bear to think that I am part of this muck, I am the pure... But you heard also that. You cannot, this is an artificial separation. You are part of this. So then what? Now I'm going to tell you another story. How many minutes do we have? No, more minutes. 20 more minutes, good. Sort of the story of the chill goes up. Anyway. You have heard of Ramana Maharshi, right? Many people have heard of Ramana Maharshi. And some people having heard, they sit down and say, who am I, and so on. Which never gives you an answer anyway. Because I say, who am I? Get up and go, I'm the same person, I haven't changed. So anyway, so you've heard of Ramana Maharshi. So he, in the early days, before the ashram was built, used to stay in a cave called Skandashram on the top. And there was one wise man who thought that he was very wise. And the Upanishads say the wise cannot attain it. So anyway. So he was a well-known person, a great scholar, a great, studied all the Shastras. He was a great poet. In fact, he was honored as the jewel among poets. And his name was Ganapati. Ganapati. And since he knew the scriptures, Shastri. So Ganapati, Shastri. given the title Kavyakanta, that means jewel among poets. So this Ganapati Shastri was a very serious man. He from childhood had studied all the Shastras, all the teachings, from the Upanishads to the Vedas to the Brahmanas to everything, the Agamas, the Tantras. There was no literature in this field which he had not studied. Which also, of course, Tantra also includes what some people suddenly meet me in the bus stop and say, can you give me the Sri Vidya? It includes all this. And but his search was very serious. He was searching for the truth. So now we have to, there's another Upanishad called the Mundaka Upanishad, in which a student questions the teacher about knowledge. And the teacher says to the student, there are two kinds of knowledge. So the student asks the teacher, what are the two kinds of knowledge? The teacher says to the student, one is higher knowledge and the other is the lower knowledge. Higher knowledge and lower knowledge. So the student, poor fellow, says, can you give me a list of this lower knowledge? Because I am looking for the higher knowledge, so I can eliminate, right? And find what leads to. Now, the teacher gives him a list of what he considers to be lower knowledge. It starts like this. Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda, Jyotisha, and so on and so forth. Now, this is terrible because you are asking what is lower, higher, what is lower knowledge, and this is all that is given to you, which we think is higher knowledge. The student, poor fellow, is confused. He says, but sir, then what is higher knowledge? Because I have heard that all this is, he says, that which leads you to the truth. It simply means, it doesn't mean that you don't have to read any of these things because they are not higher knowledge. It means, even if you have read these things, if you have not read this, how do you know what we said just now? Even if you have read all these, if it doesn't lead you to the higher knowledge, it's useless, it's lower knowledge. So, Ganapati Shastri was trying very hard, reading all the, what he thought was higher knowledge. And he was on the verge, there was something that separated him from the truth. He didn't know what it was, some barrier. So he was wandering, looking for teachers. He went to many places, he met many people. Finally, he came to Tiruvannamalai. And somebody told him there is one guy sitting up there in Skandashram. Nobody knew. Because at that time, neither Paul Brunton wrote anything, nor Arthur Osborne wrote anything, so nobody knew. He said, there is somebody sitting up there. Maybe, but he doesn't talk much, so we don't know. Okay, he said, I'll go up. So I climbed up and went to Skandashram cave, and the Maharshi was sitting in front of the cave. He's looking into the empty space, eyes not blinking. I can't say that because I sit and open my, I can say Heather sitting there, so it's not possible. So anyway, maybe possible. So he sat there with his eyes open, not blinking. And this man went and sat in front of him. He must have done his namaskar and said, but you give it to him. 1 hour, there was no movement, no speech, no nothing. Anybody else would have got tired and said, what is this guy, let's go. But he sat. Now that shows the maturity of the person. He could have said, well, I know all the way I'm going, what is the point? But he sat patiently waiting. After an hour or so, the eyes slowly blinked and focused on him. No, he was, and then he raised his hand and said, what? Especially in the south, this gesture is meaning, enna, what? He was waiting for that cue. He has to say what, and then I'll start. So he started. Told him his whole history of his spiritual journey from the beginning to going on and on and on, how he started with the Vedas, he did this, listening for some time. Then he finally said, Sri Vidya, this, that, Vedanta, Upanishad, all over. Now, but there is a barrier that separates me. I know that there is something. What should I do now? Mahari's classic statement was, can you shut up for a minute? So what I'm saying is, if you want to understand the Upanishad, you have to tell me, shut up for something. Whack. So, he said, in Tamil, he said, Kuncha nera summa irukka mudiyuma. Can you just shut up for a minute? But then you must understand that this Ganapati Shastri was a mature seeker who had done everything and was waiting only for... when you say Shruti, it means as soon as it is heard, it registers. This is why it's called Shruti. It doesn't register for everybody. Why? Because we're caught up with so many things. So, as soon as he heard this, he stopped and he became silent. And he said, got it. So, what I'm trying to say is not that you shouldn't study, not that you shouldn't go through, but please understand that according to the Upanishad, this happens at a point instantly when everything is silent. And there is no actual mind effort going on. You sit down and I'm meditating. I can tell you another example. There was a Russian, not you, a Russian lady called H.P. Blavatsky who came to India and started the Theosophical Society. Well, she started it in New York and so on, and then finally she came to India, and they still have a 100-acre area there in Adyar in Chennai, which is the headquarters of the Theosophical Society, except that now you'll only find people who have no life walking around. But that time it was vibrant. So when she came and established the Theosophical Society, there was a young lady. Oh, this fell from the book. I thought Professor Vishal Rao was somewhere here. So what did I say? Yeah. So so there was a young lady who was then working with the Fabian Society in London, a close friend of George Bernard Shaw and so on, who got quite fascinated by H.P. Blavatsky. Her name was Annie Besant. So Annie Besant was so she went to meet her. And she had a chat, and she asked her, what is the way to go into the depths of the mind? She said, you need to concentrate for that. You need to learn the art of meditation. So she said, this I can do. So she took a matchbox, and HPB had a bad habit, okay, to roll her own cigarettes and smoke. She always had a matchbox. So she held the matchbox and told her, concentrate on this. So you know how normally we have an idea of concentration? Then Rajki told animals, this is not concentration. You're straining your mind, you're not concentrating. So she said, then what is concentration? She said, from yogic point of view, total relaxation is total concentration. When you're completely relaxed, then your mind settles down somewhere, and this is concentration, not forced concentration. If you too much of forced concentration, might cause brain hemorrhage. Watch out. So, everything has to be relaxed, and we have to go at it that way. So that's it. That's what I wanted to tell you. How many more minutes? 8. So one person can ask me a question, one. There's 8 minutes. After all, we are in the Upanishad dialogue. Yes, sir.
So, I think there's a reason you started with that shloka. And I think we are very lucky in the sense that you are not going to teach us Upanishad. You are going to give us the truth.
Well, I don't know if many people know, he was my student once upon a time.
Pronounce.
Oh, when I was teaching in the Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapit, he was one of my smart students at that time. So I think even while we were doing karate, you did grasp something. Good. In fact, they all used to call me Karate Maharaj.
True.
So anyway.
They have questions, my friends. They asked me to ask you a question, but I'll ask that in
Later, yeah. Yes. So you said that I'm not going to teach you the Upanishad, but I'm going to teach you. Now look, it's like this. I wanted to teach you the Upanishads, but since you said so, I'm not going to teach you. No, I'm joking. People are paid. They're all sitting here. No. But you're right in a way. You're right in a way that when you say teach the Upanishad, it doesn't mean just teach the text. That you can get anywhere, YouTube. But iTube is different. See, okay, so since you raised this question, I think the content of the Upanishad passes from one person to another when the minds of both are silent and moving in the same frequency, not through words. Words are meant to bring this about. Words are meant, and especially so the Upanishads, because they are one of the most ancient sources of wisdom that we have. One of the most ancient. And later on, it all became a little diluted and mixed up, and so this is in its pure form of what we call the Shruti. Since in a way, I'm not teaching the Upanishad, I'm going to discuss, not even Shruti, that which is heard and immediately registered. So all I'm trying to do is not teach the Upanishad, but separate what is not Upanishad from. This is the meaning of what Adi Shankaracharya, in his commentaries on the Upanishads and the Gita and the Brahma Sutra and so on, in the teaching of his Advaita Vedanta, followed the principle, which is what you're trying to say right now, called neti. Neti means not this. In this not this, you can also include the Upanishad. So, not this, meaning you see something, you learn about something, you experience something, then you say, no, this is not the truth. This is not the Brahman. Okay, then you eliminate it. Then you say, maybe this is, then you eliminate it. Finally, you come to a point, there is no possibility of any elimination. You're there with being, which cannot be eliminated. Pure being. Then you stop. You have come to innegable substratum after the negation of all tangible objects. So, in a way, you're right. But I am going via media of the Upanishad. Because from my understanding, and as Babaji taught me, there is no pure version of trying to reach the truth as the Upanishad. I mean, in the sense, nothing that is so clear and, in essence, the teaching of how to move towards the truth. So therefore, it's important to learn the Upanishad, but not through just listening for 3 days. You don't grasp the Upanishad. You might even grasp it in 5 minutes. It need not even require 3 days, or even after 1 month nothing is understood. It can happen in a flash at any point, but we can only bring you up to that and leave you there. If you say, oh, you leave me there, then you're not stranded, you're actually moving forward. The fear is, nobody wants to be indefinite. That is the fear. Nobody wants to feel that I don't have support to my theories. I'm left hanging in midair. Try hanging in midair, it's a great thing. You don't have any internal support or external support. It sounds very dangerous, as if you're going to head into an abyss. But when you throw away your, what you call your, the crutches, that is something wonderful. You're in the air, flying like a free bird. This is what we are trying to do. You're right, in a way. But then, I'm going to keep the Upanishad as a reference point, because I have no other better thing to do. I don't have anything else. Believe me, I've gone through, checked through so many, but you never asked me such a serious question before, okay? So, we meet tomorrow again. Now we have some chanting and so on, and there's some program. And then, oh, hello, welcome. I was just looking for you. So, cut it off for the time being. We are supposed to have some chanting, singing after 15 minutes. Now, this 15 minutes, you don't have to think about the Upanishad. Relax. Don't say I got it, please. How come you're not laughing today? Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti.